If for Pakistan it is terror and trade cannot go hand in hand, for the US it is tariff and trade cannot coexist. We're almost waiting now as to who will blink first, India or the United States.
The same arguments which have been used to target India have not been applied to the largest oil importer, which is China, has not been applied to the largest LNG importer, which is the European Union.
Well, right now the tariffs are very high on India because of the Russian oil. And so right now they don't love me, but they'll love us again.
We don't know about love, but a breakthrough seems to be coming. I'm Ananya Datta. Let's get started. We need to first understand the space India is coming from. The country is the world's third largest oil importer and consumer. For its energy security, it needs to import 80% of its requirements. Historically, Middle Eastern suppliers have filled the bucket for India, but US foreign policy slowly has pushed India towards Russia. Be that by supporting Pakistan during the 1971 war or refusing to provide weaponry during the 1962 war with China. It took time, but India learned not to put all its eggs in one basket, and definitely not in the American basket. So slowly, trade with Russia began to pick momentum. It started with industrial machinery, then defense equipment, and ultimately energy. 2022, the Ukraine war was a turning point and a sour point for the West. Russia began offering heavily discounted crude oil, dollar was dished, both exchanged national currencies, and diplomacy thrived. Trump doesn't like any of this. He has slapped a 50% tariff on Indian exports. For context, China's is less than 40% and Pakistan is standing at 19%. So experts are saying that the tariffs against India are basically a trade embargo.
Making a deal with India, a much different deal than we had in the past. So right now they don't love me, but they'll love us again. We're getting a fair deal, just a fair trade deal. We had pretty unfair trade deals. They're very good negotiators, sir. Just you have to take a look at that, if you would, please. But we're getting close, Scott. I think we're pretty close to doing a deal that's good for everybody, right?
But Trump's issue isn't so much about India buying oil from Russia, it's to do with the timing. Trump is frustrated over his failed attempts of getting the Russian president to sign a peace deal in Ukraine. And that frustration is being diverted towards India, which has been buying Russian oil for decades, by the way. Yes, the scale has dramatically increased, but that's because no one else is selling oil as cheap as Russia. In fact, for all you know, once Trump is able to stop the war in Ukraine, he will have no problem with India's oil deals.
Well, right now the tariffs are very high on India because of the Russian oil, and they've stopped doing the Russian oil. It's been reduced very substantially. Yeah, we're going to be bringing the tariffs down.
Trump's repeated claim that India has stopped buying Russian oil has no basis. The latest number from Kepler, which tracks imports and exports, suggests that there has been an increase in month-on-month trade. But it is important to understand here that India's Russian oil shipments are expected to slow down, not stop, slow down, starting late this month. This is because US has sanctioned two major suppliers, and now that has prompted Indian refiners to pause new orders and look for alternatives.
I think India was getting closer to the United States over the last 20 years. And it's very disappointed. I'm not talking about leadership. I'm talking about people who, get hit with this. I mean, to rub salt in the wound. At the same time, Pakistan has a tariff rate of 19%. India has 50%. Where is the friendship between Modi and Trump that was extolled? And that it's a slap in the face for Modi because the Indian opposition is asking him, where's your friendship?
But India is also thinking one step ahead. A large delegation of Indian exporters have been dispatched to Moscow. They are going to help diversify export markets amid the impact of US tariffs. The delegation has 20 exporters from the engineering sector, a sector which accounts for nearly a fifth of all Indian merchandise exports. So apart from oil, there is a visible push for other industries as well. And most importantly, the visit comes ahead of an expected trip to India next month by Russian President Vladimir Putin. Experts are optimistic that India and the US will reach a deal in a week or in a month, but the damage may be done. Ex-RBI Governor Raghuram Rajan says India cannot trust the United States anymore.
The US cannot be trusted. It's something that will have costs, and it's typically small and medium enterprises that will bear that cost. And the longer this lasts, the more it becomes a permanent rupture.
So these are clearly very tricky times for India. The world is splitting into power blocs again, and every country is being pushed to choose a side. But India has learned from history that over-dependence on the US is risky, but so is over-dependence on Russia. One misstep, and India could end up locked into someone else's war, someone else's sanctions, someone else's diplomacy. It was saved once, but will it be saved again? I'm Ananya Datta. Thanks for watching Grey Zone.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry guards.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HT videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.